What's going down, Green Screen Entertainment fam? Your boy Jay Green back with yet another review. Now, first off the top, anyone out there who's never been to my channel before, welcome, and if you are already subscribed, thanks for tuning in. Now, in this review, I'm about to break down what I liked and what pissed me off about Antebellum. I'm going to tell you if this movie is going to be for you or if it isn't, and where I think this movie could have gone and should have gone that would made it a surefire classic. Rock with your boy. Alright fam, so check this out. I'm gonna break this review down into two portions. The first portion, spoiler free, don't even trip. Second portion, heavy spoilers, worry about it. Now I'm gonna let you know before I jump into that portion, so then that way if you still wanna see the movie by that moment in time, you can go ahead and see it without spoilers. But if you don't care, then let's just rock with it. Alright everybody, so in this portion of the spoiler-free review, we're going to start out with what I liked about the movie. Number one, I liked the premise. I can't really tell you too much about it because if I do, I will go into spoilers and reveal some things that I ain't trying to reveal to you yet. The second thing that I liked about the movie was I thought that it was shot extremely well. I thought the music was phenomenal. From the beginning of the film, it grips you and it pulls you in and kind of showcases this area of like a Confederate soldier type camp slash plantation, something to that nature that you're in. The music pulls you in. They show some dramatic imagery that really sets the tone for what this film could be. Another thing that I enjoyed about this movie was the kills. The way that Janelle Monáe takes out the villains in this film was pretty legit. And that's pretty much about all I liked. Now with all that said, because again, if you're only sticking around for the spoiler-free version, I gotta let you know right now who this is or who this isn't for. Number one, if you're the type of person that enjoys a couple of little thrills, an interesting premise, and maybe some horror elements, then this movie might be for you. If you're also the type of person that is paying attention, hopefully, to all the things that are in the news, at least the things that they're actually reporting on today about black and brown people, then this is also going to intrigue you just a little bit because there are some undertones in this film that if you pay attention to, it'll kind of open your mind to some shit. So for those people out there, you'll enjoy it. But if you are the type of person that likes a movie with those elements, but you want them to expand upon them and to dive a little bit deeper into some of those undertones and really kind of open up a world to really make you think like, fuck, I wonder if some shit like that really goes on, then this is not going to be the movie for you because it just does not do that. It's going to end up pissing you off the same way that it did me. Okay, so now's the time when I'm about to jump into heavy spoilers. So if you do want to see this film, then cut it right now because I do want you to be as fresh as possible so you can make your own mind up if you like it or if you don't. Don't let me sway your opinion. It's your opinion and everyone is entitled to that. All right, now, for those of y'all still watching, for those of y'all that have stuck around to the spoiler-heavy version, yo, we gonna have some fun, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I might take it a bit too motherfucking far. All right, y'all. Now, if I can explain how this movie made me feel, I would probably liken it to a junior high or a high school relationship. In the fact that back in the day when you was in junior high, you weren't really doing too much. You're making out for hours at a time until the fucking sun come up. And you keep trying to move it to another level, right, fellas? And what she tell you? No, not yet, too soon, things like that. And you're like, all right, I guess I just don't want to mess up this makeout session. Let's keep making out for another 4 hours, okay? Trying to get to where we know we want to get to. That's how this movie was. This movie opens up with a pretty legit tracking shot, something very Tarantino or Martin Scorsese-ish, you feel me? It pulls you in with the music and the visuals. You got the girl in the trailer, she's in the green flannel, she's running, bop, bop. They shoot her down. Her dude is distraught. They beat his ass. Slave shit. Okay, what's gonna happen next? We see Janelle Monáe's character. She's getting branded. We don't really know what she did. There's no context for any punishment or anything going on. Now, I know that back in the day, there didn't need to be a context to beat a slave. But we've seen these movies before. It's 2020, y'all. Give me something more. They give me nothing. So for the first act of this film, she's basically just in this slave land with these Confederate soldiers slash plantation or whatever, but we still have no clue as to who she is, what's her real name, why she's there other than just being a slave, and who she's friends with, and where her network of people is. So I'm like, I really don't know who to root for. I don't know who's a supporting person. I know nothing. They're not giving me any information. Now, at some point in time, there's a new batch of slaves that comes to this plantation slash Confederate soldier camp, if you will. This one light-skinned chick, she cute. She shows up and she got a look on her face like, man, I don't really need to even be here. But of course, it's slavery times. Of course you don't need to fucking be there. Anyways, she ends up going to Janelle Monáe's little cabin, and she tells her, yo, I heard that you got a plan to get up out of here. So that's telling me maybe Janelle Monáe is like a Harriet Tubman type chick. Maybe she's got something cooking. She's about to get everybody up off of this thing. But they don't give us no details. In fact, the lady that's asking her questions is very loud and very obvious. They've told us earlier in the film, look, if you talk out of turn, we'll kill your ass. Now, remember, during these times, they did whatever the fuck they wanted to you. It did not matter if there was a reason or a purpose. They did this shit anyways. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, if we're in slavery times, this chick is acting pretty unknowledgeable to the fact that you could be A, getting yourself in trouble, and B, getting Janelle Monáe's character in trouble. So already, I don't like you. You're already a problem to our main protagonist. Okay, so fast forward just a little bit. We now see Janelle Monáe getting raped by this dude. I don't remember his name. We'll call him Big John. I don't know. But he's like the head guy in charge of this whole plantation / Confederate soldier camp. He's getting off on her, rolls over, passes out. Now she's getting ready to go to sleep. When she goes to sleep, she basically wakes up like in modern times. So I'm wondering, okay, now we're getting somewhere. What's going on? Is this like some type of like ancestral type thing, like where they're reaching out to her? I have no idea. Is it some kind of like burial ground situation where she was transported to another level, another state of mind and dimension? I have no fucking clue, right? I'm wondering, okay, you got me on the hook right now. She wakes up. Her family is whatever. She got a cute little girl. Her husband's a goofball. And it doesn't make sense. They have no real chemistry on screen. I'm not even understanding how Janelle Monáe's cool, sexy, swagoo type character is going to be with this guy. Not because he's a goofball. It just doesn't even seem like the way that he is what attracts her to him. Then we're introduced to Janelle Monáe's best friend in this movie. Now, look, the girl that plays her best friend is the same chick in Precious. I'm talking about the girl that played Precious. Now, I'm not talking shit about this girl, but the way that they wrote the character, she is annoying as fuck. I've not seen a best friend character so annoying since that chick that was rocking with Halle Berry in Catwoman. They either wrote this character to be funny, which she's not. She actually comes off as arrogant, rude, and insensitive to every fucking buddy. Look, I understand a movie like this is dealing with slavery or even levels of racial bias and things like that. You're probably going to have a person of color giving it to a white person. Makes perfect sense. Let's go ahead and get it. But that doesn't mean that you can just say whatever you want for no real fucking reason. In fact, there's a scene with Janelle Monáe and her yoga instructor at her hotel room that we're led to believe she knows this woman. It's not just like she called and rented a yoga instructor for the day. She knows this chick. And her friend comes in and is talking like hella rude, like this bitch is a bad person. She doesn't seem like she's a bad person, so why are you treating her that way? There's a guy that tries to get this broad's phone number at a restaurant, a really nice restaurant, and he has seemingly good intentions. And she basically calls him out in front of the friends like in a real silly way. Now listen, I'm not saying that she needed to give that guy her phone number. She could turn him down any way that she wants. It's her choice. You feel me? But what I am saying is that when a movie opens up with a woman getting her head blown off and her dude that's a slave with that weird collar situation getting his ass whooped for crying at that same situation, throws a character in there that's silly, goofy, and saying random ass shit that nobody would actually say in a real life setting, I'm not understanding what you want this movie to be. Do you want it to be comic relief and silly in modern times, but serious when it's slavery times? That's an uneven film, and I'm not feeling that. Also, we're about midway through the movie and I still have no fucking clue how you're relating these two worlds with one woman. How is Janelle Monáe a slave, but then at the same time, she's in modern times? You still have told me nothing. I know nothing. I'm confused. All right, y'all. Now follow me on this while I backtrack just a little so I can work my way forward into the reveal. I'm not going to call it a twist because it's not a twist. You've already seen what it was in the trailers, but this is how it all went down. So earlier in the film, when she woke up, right, coming out of that dream state, if you will, her husband says, oh, did you have a bad dream? Alluding to the fact that maybe she was dreaming about being a slave. But she then wakes up and she's on a Skype call with one of the chicks that was helping to run the plantation. So I'm like, maybe she's getting visions and feelings about all this racial animosity that's built up around her from people that are communicating with her, and she's like putting it into her dreams or something like this, okay? So it's like, okay, kind of a cool premise. The fact that society can stress you out so much to the point where you're having nightmares about this shit, specific people, putting them in positions of hate and racism and oppression, that makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? I like that movie, not this movie. So anyways, she sees that chick. Now, what happens is she leaves the restaurant with her friends. She gets in an Uber. We never see who the fucking driver is. She tells the driver, turn down the music a couple times. You've seen this in movies before where we don't see the driver. We're wondering who it is. Eventually, the driver moves the mirror and you see it's that lady. And she's like, oh no. And then all of a sudden, someone comes in the back, puts a chloroform over her. Good, she's passed out. Next thing you know, you hear a phone ringing. She wakes up. She's back in the bed with Big John. It's almost like she's back into that dream state, as you would think. But then you hear the phone ring again while she's in slavery times, and we hear that the phone is coming from outside of the cabin. What? We look at a horse, and the horse's little satchel situation is like lighting up. There's a phone in there. So it clicks. Oh shit. This is modern times. She was kidnapped and forced into literal modern slavery and shit. That's terrifying as fuck. All right, so now that we got that reveal out the way, we're moving forward. It's another day in slavery times. Once again, we have no context whatsoever. How long has she been there? Who are these people that kidnapped her? Just some crazy white people? There's a lot of them out there, but who are they? What do they do? How are they funding this entire camp? How are they feeding everybody? Do they own this land? Did they steal this land? Probably stole it. But anyways, we revisit that light-skinned chick. We find out that she's pregnant. She was with this other guy, one of the Confederate soldier type dudes. He kicked her in the stomach. She had a miscarriage. That's the scene that you see in the trailer where she's looking up talking about, But again, she's being very loud. She's being very noticeable. Now look, I understand that she had a miscarriage that is awful, that is terrible. But if indeed this was slavery times, you would think that she might be a little bit more quiet, hoping that she wouldn't get murdered or something like this for talking too much, right? But now we're in modern times where technical slavery has been long gone. But these people are crazy enough to kidnap hundreds of people somewhere, probably in the South, housing them and reliving the Civil War. I would be a little bit more quiet, because these people will kill you, clearly. Now, I brought that up to say that what happens next over another day or so is that this chick ends up hanging herself. It's sad, it's tragic. It makes me think to myself, again, without any context to understand how long was she held captive? How long have all these people been there? Because if they just plucked you out of society a week or two ago, okay, you're pregnant, maybe you had a family, you had a boyfriend, a husband, we have no idea, all right? And then you have a miscarriage. Wow, that is terrible. I'm thinking to myself, is it worth hanging yourself instantaneously? Do you have no hope that you're going to leave this place? You have an idea that this chick over here has a plan to get people out. You're not even gonna wait just a little bit? You can just off yourself right now? Damn, this is dreary. Now, it's at this moment in time that Janelle Monáe's character is like, nah, fuck that, we about to get up out of here. Now, let's talk about Janelle Monáe's plan to get away from Big John in the middle of the night. Number one, he's sleeping on the open side of the bed. She on the wall side. Yeah, it's already hard enough for me to get up and go to the bathroom on the wall side without waking up my lady, okay? So we see her do some acrobatic shit to get out of the bed. I swear to God, it's like a handstand to a back bend and some shit. And this motherfucker don't wake up. Really? What, she got, like a Tempur-Pedic? Her plan is to get outside, grab his phone, somehow bring it back into the room, get his facial recognition. These motherfuckers are well funded with the iPhone 11 Pros, okay? Then she's gonna open it up. She's gonna dial 911 and tell him where she at. Yo, on the real, sometimes I'll be in my own house and I don't got service. She out in the middle of nowhere. You know that phone ain't got no goddamn bars? Now, it's at this time that Janelle Monáe and her homie are fighting some other goons. Her homie doesn't make it. She jumps up on the horse and she's riding out this bitch like Wyatt Earp. Now, the problem that I have with this is that we have no clue or context that she has experience on a horse. In certain movies, I let it slide. But the problem with this film is it gives us no context whatsoever. So she's riding out into the forest. Now, one of the main chicks in the whole plantation / Confederate camp is riding after her. And she got a gun. Pop, pop, pop. Remember, this is a hillbilly chick. She's got experience on a horse. She's gotten experience with guns. We have no clue that Janelle Monáe's character has experience with any of these fucking things. But she's out riding her. She's out gunning her. She's out doing everything, okay? Janelle Monáe, she's hiding in the forest. The chick is in the middle of the forest and she's dumping heavy exposition talking about, he wanted you, I told him no, I picked every slave on the plantation. Like, man, that is the laziest fucking writing. You should have told us that way earlier in the film. Well, I think the film film went wrong was that they give you the reveal, but then they don't track back in time to show us who these people really are. Give them a sinister background so that we can be afraid of them when Janelle Monáe and her homie are really trying to escape. All we know about them is that they crazy white people, and they every fucking where. Now, in the middle of this chick dropping heavy exposition for no real reason in the context of the film and the story that we're watching, all of a sudden a rope comes out. Janelle Monáe's character, from a horse, moving, lassos this bitch first try around the neck, hog ties her ass, and takes off. Look, I've never been to a rodeo, but I've seen some on TV when I was flipping the channels, you know. Doesn't look that easy. And that's how it ends, pretty much. She's riding off into dawn. But she goes through some dudes that are playing out that Civil War, and it turns out that Antebellum, this was a Civil War reenactment camp. We then see in the end credits the FBI coming through the fields, heading towards the camp, seeing what's going on. They interview one black chick who doesn't even look that goddamn distraught. She looks like she just was like involved in a car accident. Not really like in the car, but like 4 cars back. She just saw what happened. And then finally, the last scene of the film during the credits is a bulldozer driving over the Antebellum sign, taking it down, letting us know that this camp is no longer functioning. This reenactment area is no longer in business. And that's the end of the film. Now, here's the problem that I had with this movie. Number one, based on the trailers, I thought there was going to be a lot more to it. Number two, it took hella long for us to understand anything that was fucking going on. But even when we understood what was going on, there was no character development. There was no context as to how long they've been there, who's who, what's what, why's why. What the fuck is it? We have no fucking clue. We're just literally watching this shit unfold, but it doesn't even make sense to what's going on, because once we realize Janelle Monáe's character is in modern times, we have no understanding as to how she's able to do the things that she's doing. Makes no sense. I get that you maybe want to make her character a hero, but there's no context to that. I would have enjoyed seeing some context to how it is possible that these white people that run this Civil War reenactment camp could have funded all of this. How long has it been going on? If you had made some type of like deep-threaded history that says it never stopped, that when they lost the war, they lied to their people, nah, we won, nah, we're good. And much like M. Night Shyamalan's The Village, what if they just kept their little nook of the world, if you will, going this entire time? They've been kidnapping people left and right. Remember that in modern times, in today's time, there's a lot of black and brown people that go missing that you never hear about, that are never found, cases still wide open. Why? Because they're black and brown. And black and brown people on the news isn't headline news, not like white people. And that's a fact. Do your research. So this movie deals with a very serious subject matter, but I feel like they could have went into it a lot deeper. Now, my final thoughts is this. This movie basically creates a character with no context that is able to get in and out of sticky situations for the sake of the script. I'm not feeling that. There are movies that I've given a pass when they do that, but those movies are also entertaining. This movie was not that entertaining. It was rather boring. So because you're boring and you didn't develop your character, you fail on both accounts. Also, not only are you boring, and you fail to give your characters development so I can believe the bullshit that they're doing, but you also give me poor supporting characters. Look, in the end of the day, I can tell that this was trying to be 2020's Get Out. It was trying to be 2020's Us. It was produced by Jordan Peele. But I feel like if Jordan Peele had directed it, Tarantino had directed it, maybe if just about anyone else had written and directed this and took some time on the characters, then this crazy premise, rather simple, but just the notion of it is crazy, could have been a mega hit and terrifying given the circumstances of America and how it's treating black and brown people at this fucking time. Missed opportunity. But for right now, that's all I got for you. I know this video was long, so for all of y'all out there that stuck with it through and through and watched it, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Again, if you haven't done it already, do me a huge favor. Like, subscribe. It's really going to help out my channel. I appreciate you in advance, okay? Your homie Jay Green, I'm out.